Okay, you had a very special upbringing in Graceland. You had a bed made of mink fur. You had special rings made for you at the age of 4. You had a golf cart. You were spoiled like mad. How would you describe this little girl?
I think confused. I don't think that I looked at it as being spoiled. I think that I looked at it as my father loved me and didn't get to spend a lot of time with me. And when he did, he wanted to go out of his way to do whatever he needed to do to make me, seemingly happy. I had a very large dichotomy, though. That was part of my life. But then I would go home and live in a small apartment with my mother. And
yeah, in Los Angeles. Because
yeah.
when they divorced when you were 4, your mom moved to Los Angeles. But
right.
You spent quite a lot of time in Graceland, still with your dad.
Yes, but it was just a dichotomy, going from that to a very regimented, scheduled, normal life with an apartment with my mom, 2-bedroom apartment, to that, it was back and forth. So it wasn't just one, that was all that was there. And my mother was very level-headed and very set on me being level-headed, so she'd have to sort of undo whatever was done if I went to Graceland and spent 2 weeks being, a crazy tyrant, she'd have to come and sort of guide me back in the right direction.
Who ruled Graceland? Who was the dictator?
Well, my father, but if he was sleeping, and I would...
Somebody told me you were very good at, you found a very smart way of telling people that if you don't do what I say, I'm going to tell my dad and he's going to fire you.
They hear these stories a lot when I was a kid. There's one that one of the cooks just recently told me. She said, you came in the kitchen one day and you said, she made a chocolate cake, and she said, and I wanted to eat it. She said, you can't right now. Your father said, no, you're going to have dinner. And I said, you're fired, get out, this is my house. And I was, that was an element, it was a phase, it didn't last, but I did go through it.
Because I think you had a pretty rough time. Your mom has told that a story about when she wanted you for a photo together with your mom and dad, and you were crying, you didn't want to leave your nurse. And then she realized that you had been so much with your nurse, so, you weren't even at ease being with her.
Right.
So you must have been very lonely.
I was, yeah. She was, I remember her very well. Sweet Japanese lady, and I was very attached, and I was very heartbroken when she got rid of her. I couldn't believe it. But they were very busy then, and yeah, I was. Most of the time I would be in my room listening to music, not really wanting to play with friends. Music was everything. I had a little 45 and records, and just listen,
And how did you perceive all this fame thing, and fans, and people trying to climb over the fence? And
it's funny because I just adapted early and didn't have any kind of, didn't know any different.
When I see pictures of you from when you were growing up, you don't look very happy. Why?
I don't know. I was sort of I don't know. I was very deep as a kid. I had a lot of questions about life. Exposed to death very early. Not really a kid that was interested in being materialistic or celebrity or super. I was very sort of spiritual at a young age, wanting to know deep, dark questions about life very early on. Didn't have them answered yet, so it's sort of purposeless, not quite understanding how things worked. Alone a lot. Music was a huge part of my life, so that's what would get me through things.
And you saw your father slowly go towards death, becoming more and more sick. How did you perceive this as a little child?
I don't know. I just knew.